Welcome to At the Table with D. Monique. Pull up a chair, sit down, relax, and let's chat.
Hello. Welcome to At the Table with D. Monique. Here we will have conversations with real people sharing real life stories. Today, on our very first episode, our first guest is Miss Judith. Hello, Miss Judith.
Hello, Lady D. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. So how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm very proud of you on your podcast. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being a part of my first episode. So here's the thing. Before we get started talking,
Mhm.
I think all good conversations should have good snacks. So I have a snack, and I know you have a snack. So tell me, well, before you tell me what you have, guys, if you don't have a snack out there, please take a minute, pause this episode, go get a snack, and then come back. Okay?
Grab a snack and come back to the table.
Welcome back. Hopefully you have a snack. So now, Miss Judith, what snack do you have today?
My favorite snack is Gala apples and peanut butter. Yes.
Mmm. I love some apples and peanut butter. How long have you been eating
Mhm.
these apples and peanut butter? Is it like a childhood favorite, or is it something that you started to enjoy as an adult?
I just found out that I enjoy it as an adult. It's really
Mm-hmm.
weird, but I tried it and I liked it. Probably
Yeah,
8, 9 years ago.
yeah. I love apples and peanut butter. My favorite apple is the ambrosia apples with
Ambrosia.
peanut butter.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So I have been waiting for this snack time since yesterday. Okay. Because I
Me
knew we
too.
were gonna have snack time. So I went to the store and I bought these chips. And let me tell you, I had to have self-control because I wanted to eat them for breakfast this morning. And
Oh
before I
wow.
show everybody my snack, I have to say this is not sponsored. Okay. So they are not paying me to say this. This is my real opinion of this snack. But this is one of my favorite snacks.
Oh,
Can you see that?
Brussels
It
sprout
is
puffs.
Vegan
Okay.
Rob Brussels sprout puffs. Now I know it sounds like Brussels sprouts, but let me tell you, I've been waiting to open this so bad. Okay, here we go. Mm.
Oh,
Do you hear that crunch?
yes.
These are not those little baby. You know how babies like those little cheese puffs?
Yeah, they're
These are not
horrible.
those get soggy fast. Mm. Okay,
Good for
we're gonna get
you.
on with the podcast, but let me just
Okay.
eat two more. Okay.
Mm, awesome.
Mm, 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 mm. I love a good snack. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I hope our audience that's watching this right now and listening to this, I hope they got some good snacks. Mm.
They do. Don't worry.
Because I know my snack is delicious. Okay. So, as you all know, it is October, and October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You know, if you've been out in your city and your towns, you've probably seen a lot of people wearing their pink hats and shirts and scarves, and even the lapel pink ribbons. Sometimes you'll even see people gathered doing walks, and those walks are to bring awareness to the importance of breast cancer because, as women, I know men develop breast cancer as well, about 1% of men. But as women, it is really important that we do self examinations at least once a month. And then once you hit the golden age of 40, it is recommended that we go and we get our annual mammograms. So, if you're one of the folks out there that maybe you don't have insurance and you're thinking, well, how do I go and get a mammogram? Check out your local community health centers because they may offer it at a low fee or no fee to you, especially during the month of October. I went to the American Cancer Society website and they estimated that over 200,000 new cases of breast cancer will be diagnosed this year. So that just lets us know that early detection is really important. Okay. It can be the difference between life and death. Okay. So our first guest is Miss Judith, and Miss Judith is a two-time breast cancer survivor. So let's all welcome Miss Judith. Take a moment and please cheer her on because that is awesome.
It's good to be alive.
Welcome to At the Table with Monique, Miss Judith. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you for having me. What an awesome experience. I always enjoy sharing my journey with others because it's what you just said. So many other women will be affected by this. And I'm just here to let them know that there's a God that we serve and He's good.
He is so good. He is so good. So let's talk about this. I know it's a sensitive subject, but the best thing to do is just go ahead and dive right in. Would you say so? Would you agree?
I would say so.
Okay. So let's talk about your first diagnosis. How did you how did you find out that you had breast cancer? Did you find a lump? Did you go in to have a mammogram? What happened?
My first diagnosis was at age 44. This was in 2005. But let me back up just a little. Even as a youngster growing up and becoming a young woman and developing, I always had a discharge from my breast. Never felt any lumps or anything, but that was the way my breasts were. Throughout the years before the diagnosis, I would have a needle aspiration. They would test it. It would always be negative, no problem. It never crossed my mind that it could be anything else other than what my breasts do. Not every woman has a discharge, but I did. As a young woman, I had it, and on up through my adulthood, I still had it. So upon the last aspiration and going back to aspiration, a needle aspiration is where they take this nice long needle, stick it into the sac, because what it is a sac of fluid. Stick it into the sac, withdraw the fluid, and then they test the fluid to make sure it's not cancerous. I had that done several times over the years. Never anything, never thought about it. So upon the last one, my doctor was Dr. Randy Cooper. It was University Hospital at the time, which is now Piedmont. But he always assured me I was fine. But the last time I had that done, there was a lump, a little larger than what it normally would be from his exam. And that was when I was diagnosed in 2005, March 29th.
Okay.
So that first experience, it kind of it did shape me because you never want to hear the words, you have breast cancer. There is a history of colon cancer in my family. And according to Dr. Cooper as well, those with a history of colon cancer, there's some type of link with breast cancer. So none of my mom, my sister, my grandfather had colon, my uncle had colon, and my auntie, all on my mother's side, had colon cancer. So never breast. So at 44, when I was diagnosed, I was shocked, scared, never wanted to hear those words. But after I had a little pity party, cried a little bit, I became a fighter, and that's who I am now.
Yes. You're a warrior.
Warrior princess.
Yes. When you after you got the diagnosis, I'm sure they gave you treatment options. What were the treatment options presented to you at that time?
I could do nothing and die, or I could have chemo um, along with surgery. And that's the one that I chose. I'm not sure what my other options were. I just knew I didn't want to die. And I really wanted to be okay. That more than anything, I just wanted to live because I was so young. And as it would happen with the first diagnosis, and they came up with a treatment plan with chemo, I had had 7 rounds of chemo. I had a mastectomy, and one of the options, while they were trying to figure that out, there was a second cancer that they found in the same breast, the left breast, in 2005. And
Okay.
it was a rare type of breast cancer where only 6 people in the world had it at the time. So I was the seventh. And
Okay.
they really didn't know what to do. But
Mm-hmm.
as the Almighty would have it, the cure came with the treatment plan that was originally discussed. From
Okay.
February to August, they were kind of up in limbo trying to figure out what to do, how to approach it. So in August of 2005 was my first round of chemo, and it was
Okay.
grueling. Um, it was frightening. I was afraid, but I knew I was a woman of faith and I believed, but I knew God would heal me. It took some
Mm-hmm.
time, and the 7 rounds, we did those. I lost my hair. I think losing my hair was probably the hardest part. But then I grew, and that all comes with vanity, and God had to deal with me in vanity. But I figured it out. I'd rather have no hair and be here than to have hair rolling down my back and about to leave.
I think any
Yeah.
woman, or it, like I said, there are men who develop breast cancers where would agree with you. They would rather
Yes.
live than have hair. And we live in a world where, guess what? You can have whatever kind of hair you want. You can go to the store and buy you some hair,
Exactly.
So hey, but you can't go and
Exactly.
buy a new life. And so I'm
Yes.
glad that you chose the treatment options. So can you just explain to me and also the viewers, how is the chemo um treatment, how are you given the treatment? Is it
It's
is
in,
it
you have to have a port because every
okay?
time you go, there's always needles. So to cut
Mhm.
down the activity in your arms, there's a porticaf that's inserted inside your chest. It's just below the skin. It doesn't hurt.
Uh-huh.
It just makes it easier to insert a needle to administer the medicines.
Okay. And how long does it normally take for a chemo session? Um
Depending on the type of medication you get, the one that knocks your hair out is called the red devil. That's how powerful it is. It
Mhm.
kills all the bad cells, but in the process, it kills all the good cells. So
Mhm.
you can go in from 3 to 4 hours. One of my friends now who's metastatic, she's going through like a 5 hour. So it depends on the type of cancer, the severity of it, meaning the staging, and your body weight has a lot to do with it too, because you do get sick. I lost a lot of weight. It's back, unfortunately, but your
You look
body has to be
beautiful.
able to handle. I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
I said you look
What did you say?
beautiful. You look
Thank
beautiful.
you. I feel
Yeah.
good. I feel good.
Yeah.
So yeah, depending on your body weight and your overall general health, because your white blood cell count will sometimes go down, but you go get a shot to boost them back up. But sometimes things happen, infection and so forth. But again, it's dependent upon the severity of the cancer, how aggressive it
Mhm.
is. That's how that's determined.
Okay. When your cancer was discovered, What stage was it in?
Stage 3.
Okay.
4 is the highest. So it's pretty
Okay.
scary. Yes.
I understand. Yeah.
Yes.
So, so during that time, I would imagine you had some people around you to support you. Who was your support system?
Yes, I did. I call them my prayer posse. I had several friends, and because I don't have immediate family in Georgia at the time, I had an adopted dad, Willie Childs. He was there every chemo session, and several friends that would go with me and pray. And they knew when I would come into the area, and I was married at the time. My husband, um, he would come with me along with the prayer posse. I'd roll in there like 70, just have that energy around me for
Yeah.
healing.
Mhm.
Things have changed now since COVID. Everybody can't go back there. A lot of times no one can go back there but the patient. I don't know how they
Mhm.
do it now, but it's kind of scary. I was thankful to have someone to hold my hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yes.
so happy you had a great support system. I mean, you were rolling
I,
7 deep. You sound like, a
yes.
superstar. They were like, watch out, Miss Judith is coming through.
They knew when I'd enter, there she is.
Yeah. And
Her and her
to
posse.
have not only to have people there holding your hand, but the prayers, the words of encouragement,
Yes.
on those
Yes.
days where you might felt like your body was a little tired, and just for them
Yes.
to say something encouraging, or just their presence. I just,
Yes. My mom was
just
alive
talking to
then
you
and
right
she
now, I'm trying to
encouraged.
like keep my body still because I feel like I'm shivering, but I can only.
It's a blessing. My mom was alive. She would come. She stayed with me for about 3 months, helping me.
Mm,
It was a blessing, truly.
yeah, that
Hmm.
definitely was a blessing. So,
Yes.
um, when you go through treatment like that, I would imagine you probably made some changes to your health, like, or to your diet, m- or even mentally. You might have said, you know what, I'm not going to let anything stress me out. What kind of health changes did you make at that time to help you get through the treatment?
Well, one of the changes I made, which is important during the recovery, is drinking more water. I can remember when I went, okay, you have chemo day 1, the next day you go back and get a shot to boost your white blood cells. So there was a young lady in the room, we're all in there, we're going through the same thing. She was not drinking the water. And so one of the nurses said to her, and I heard her, and it kind of snapped me into being a water freak, now. She said, Miss, I'll just call her Betty. Miss Betty, you haven't been drinking the water. You're dehydrated. If you can't drink the water, we can do one or two things. We can send you back home and ask you to drink more, or we can take you across the street, which was exactly across the street from the hospital. I was like, no, I can drink water. I wasn't a big water fan at the time, but I'm a big water fan now because of that, because those drugs need to flush through your system before the
Mhm.
next round. So drinking more water was one of them. Um, I was so concerned about my weight. I had lost so much weight. I just wanted to eat. I tried not to eat all the wrong things, try to do more fruits and vegetables, which is always wonderful to be able to do. But those were the two things. Just try to eat better, more fruits and vegetables, drink way more water than what I would normally drink.
Mhm.
But that was it. That was it.
Okay.
My mindset definitely changed. I wanted to live, I wanted to be happy and to bring joy to others around me, which I always wanted to do that anyway. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. But cancer, it pushes you to be more, it pushes you to be better. Um,
Mhm.
it's the way that you approach it. You can have a pity party and feel really sorry for yourself, or you can be determined to fight And that's the person I became. There were slow days. Every day was not a cakewalk. I'm not saying that. But what I am
Mm-hmm.
saying is, in your spirit and the faith, the mustard seed faith that God gives you, you must have that mentality, that warrior mentality. And from the day that you walk out of that doctor's office, when you are diagnosed, you become a survivor because you're still here.
Right.
So to me, that's my definition of being a survivor. As soon as you're told, your mindset changes and says, I want to live. I want to give everything that I have to someone else. It takes away a
Mm-hmm.
lot of your selfishness.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't want you to think that what I'm about to ask you, this is the most important thing, but I just know somebody might be thinking about this. Were you able to work while you were undergoing your chemo treatments?
No, I was not. Those drugs are so powerful. I admire people that can, but those drugs are so powerful. It zaps your energy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you have no energy. Yeah, I didn't want to eat a lot. Uh, your appetite changes. The taste buds in your mouth changes. Your neuropathy is common. It's where the nerve endings, like in your hands or your
Mm-hmm.
feet. You're walking, but it doesn't feel like you're walking because the nerves are just so aggravated. So no, I couldn't. I threw up a lot. There was a lot of nausea. So I just took the time off from my job. And thank God I had a job that allowed me to. I could just stay at home and take care of me. So for about 5 months, I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
work.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, so after you went through all of your treatment, you got to experience something that I've seen people do, and it requires you ring a bell. Did you get? Did you do that? Did you ring the
At
bell?
that time, the bell was not, it was not in place at my,
Okay.
at Augusta Oncology. So that is something new that I love to see now. But
Hmm.
back in 2006, it was not available. So
Okay. Did
I've
you?
seen people get like little certificates and all. I didn't get that. I got hand claps as in yay, she's
Yeah.
finished. But I did not have the bell at the time. I don't remember having the bell because I'm sure somebody would have taken a picture of that. But there was
Right.
not a bell back then.
Was there anything that you did to celebrate that moment that you found out your treatment was done and the cancer was gone? Did you do anything to celebrate that moment?
Well, there's a break in between last treatment and then next actually being clean because you still
Okay.
have to go undergo doctor's appointments where they scan
Okay.
you, look and see if there's anything else going on the inside. So for a full year,
Mhm.
that's what happens at that time. It's much better now, you know,
Mhm.
uh, as far as diagnosing, looking, and after treatment, they can tell right away. But at the time, um, I just had to go back every 3 months to get a scan, and of course, lab tests and so forth. So I love the
Okay.
idea of the bell. I think that's awesome.
What kind of
Yeah.
scan did you have to have done?
PET scan. PET scan is some nice long scientific explanation for PET, but it's actually a machine that scans your whole body from the top of your head to your feet. You can have other scans that, like for my breast, they could just only look at the breast, but they really need to look at your whole body to see because cancer is a booger. It will go anywhere in your body. So the full PET scan, I had those consistently, and I also had chest scans because I elected not to have my right breast removed. Um, they always have to check. But I felt
Okay.
as if, once having the left side done, that would be it. But unfortunately, it was not.
So
Came back on the
how
right.
how so? The second diagnosis was the right breast.
Yes.
So can
It,
you take us before we talk about the right breast? Can you take us
mhm.
through, if it's not, if it's okay with you, can you take us through the procedure of having to have the mastectomy done?
Oh, I
How
was
did they prepare
traumatized.
you? Okay,
It is
we
so
don't have to talk
traumatized.
about. No, no,
No, no,
no. We
no.
don't have to
But
talk
I
about
want
that.
people to know what happens and the way that you
Mhm,
feel after it
mhm,
happens. At the time, being 44 years old, I felt, that was very important to me. But I also knew I didn't want to die. So it was not that I was struggling, oh my, do I do it? It's just a matter of when. And when that day comes, the tissue in a woman's breast, and a lot of Black women have trouble with having very dense breasts, thick.
mhm,
And I was one of those people. Um, sure that you'll be afraid, but it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. I had a great surgeon, Dr. Randy Cooper, and I also had a great plastic surgeon. So what they did, they could do it at the same time. Um, it's called a tram flap. They take the muscle in your abdomen, just
mhm,
below, your reproductive parts, and push
mhm,
that muscle up through your chest and form a breast. And that's what I have on the left side. And they could have either done that, or like the density around the back area of my left side from my back could push that around, but I didn't have enough of that. So they took the abdomen muscle, pushed it up, and created and shaped a breast. So I wanted to look as normal, or what I
mhm,
perceived to be as normal
mhm,
as possible.
mhm,
So it was a great thing. I had a great surgeon, and I think it looks good. I've never had any troubles out of it or anything.
mhm. Do you think that made it a little easier to go through the procedure, knowing that once that that breast was done, that you were going to get another one at that time? Do you think that
Yes,
made it
it
a little
did.
bit easier?
Again, vanity. it's,
Hmm.
but I don't know. It's something about a woman's hair and her breast. That's what makes her a woman. But actually, those are the
Yeah.
physical appearances. That's
Hmm.
not what God made you on the inside. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I had to come to terms with it. It was not easy. It was
Hmm.
not, but I made it.
Yeah. Um, I um, I just turned 40 years old,
Okay.
and um, I had to go get a mammogram done.
Okay.
And um, when I went in to get a test for something else, but then they saw a lump, and so I had to get a mammogram done. And I know this is your interview. I just want to share because all of us can share with each other. But I remember that feeling in between being told I had to go get the mammogram done and the
Hmm.
appointment. And I'm happy to say that I do not have breast cancer. But I just remember the emotions.
Hmm.
But I fought off any negative feelings with prayer,
Hmm.
and just
Yes.
saying, God, whatever it is that you're going to take me through it, because he's taken me through so
Mm.
many things,
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I try not to get emotional, but
It's
I
it's okay.
I can
I do
only
understand.
I can only imagine how you felt. And I only had to have that feeling for a short amount of time.
I can really relate to what you're saying, especially when you don't know what's going on.
Hmm.
Um, they rush you immediately downstairs. They got to take all these pictures, MRI, sonogram, ultrasound, all of these things. And you really don't know in the moment what is going on. Why am I having to go test after test after test?
Mhm.
And it's scary because the waiting is horrible. Um, but you gotta wait. But
Mhm.
those those are those are the times where you really have to put your faith into action, because
Yes.
otherwise you will lose your mind,
Mhm.
waiting. And that's what cancer is, most of that. Take a test, wait. Take another test, wait. Take a blood test, wait. So
Mhm.
if you don't have patience, you'll find some. God will give you some, whether you want it or not.
Yeah, he takes us through things sometimes to teach us some lessons.
To
You know?
grow closer to Him, it
Mhm.
moves you closer. If it doesn't move you, that's a problem. But yeah,
Yeah.
and we all should be close. So He has a way of getting your attention, I tell you.
Oh, yes.
I'm so thankful you're okay. I'm glad you're
Yes.
okay. Yes, I'm glad you're okay. But every woman, you know, they need to know what's going on the inside of their bodies. They really do.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Get
I
that
mean,
mammogram. Check your boobies.
yeah. And not only mammograms, pap smears. I mean, we need to have
Yes.
annual, if not biannual, physicals done. You need to go in
Oh, definitely.
and have,
Yes.
your labs done, because if you don't
Right.
know, um, if you don't ever find out, you won't know, you know. And I
And
think
just because you
sometimes
stick your head in the sand doesn't mean it's going to go away.
exactly. And if I just may say this for a moment, you and I both share something. We're both believers in God, but I think that sometimes as Christians, sometimes people will say, oh, well, God will take care of it, and He will take care of it. But that doesn't mean, excuse me, that doesn't mean that, your Him taking care of you is just going to be, oh, it's not there. That's why He gave us doctors. He gave us
He works
technology.
through them. Yes.
Exactly. So,
Yes.
yes, pray, have faith, but also go and get tested. Go have your examinations done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if there's somebody out there and they're thinking, "Oh, is something wrong with me? I'm going to pray it away." Yes, please pray it
Hmm.
away. But while you're praying it away, go and see the people whom He has put in these positions.
Yeah. Exactly. I totally agree. Um, Sometimes it's hard to say. Your faith gets in your way
Hmm.
because you 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 believe what you read in the Bible. I do.
Hmm.
And but God also wants you to be proactive. It's like you
Hmm.
said, you can't just say, "Oh, He's going to heal me." He's going to heal me through these doctors. That's
Right.
that's that's why He placed him here. So I'm glad you said
Hmm.
that, because it's not as simple as being diagnosed and say, "Well, God will get me through." Well, God gave you a brain and hopefully some common sense.
Hmm.
you know, you need to check on yourself, and He'll work through that doctor. All you got, He already knows that they can do it, but you have to ask as well.
Hmm.
You, not necessarily all the people around you got praying for you. He wants to hear from you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we had a moment to say that, because I think sometimes people can um get a little um they can, like you said, they can let their faith get in the way,
Hmm.
thinking
Yes.
they thinking that they have a lack of faith because they're
Yes.
not going into the doctor. Not going into the doctor doesn't mean that you do not have faith, you know.
Yeah.
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 Whew.
We're
So,
living proof
let's
that it
see.
does. You and I both.
Right. You are so right. Um So we do. Well, I want to ask. So you did say to us that you did eventually get diagnosed with breast cancer in the right breast.
Yes,
What was the time frame? How long were you in remission before you found out about the right breast?
9 years, 11 months.
Okay.
So at age 54, I was
Mhm.
diagnosed again. I had applied for a job,
Mhm.
and let me back up. I was laid off from a previous position. I had been down from that, just kind of depressed. But as the good Lord lifted me up, um, I was supposed to start the job the day after my birthday, 2015. So I had regularly scheduled exams for February because I always go after my birthday or during my birthday. And I moved my appointments up because I didn't want to start the position taking off work to go to an appointment. Didn't
Mhm.
think that was a good look for a new job. So I moved those appointments up 3 weeks and I went. And 2 weeks before I was supposed to start, um, I had the exam, just thought, it was normal, everything's cool. But in February, after I had started my new job, I found out again on my mom's birthday, February 15th. So
Okay.
I was shocked
Mhm.
because I had met people that survived never had it again. And I thought I was going to be one of those people, you know.
Mhm.
But it came back 9 years and 11 months after the first diagnosis. This time, it was found in my OBGYN's office. I had a lump. She felt it.
Mhm.
And, all the shuffling, go downstairs, let's do this, let's do that. So I, got everything checked and only had to have a lumpectomy for the right side. So I was very thankful that no chemo, no radiation. It was just that small. That's how small it was that I didn't
Oh
have to
wow.
have. Yes, it was a blessing. It was two different experiences for both
Mhm.
sides.
Mhm.
The left side was way harder than the right side. Once I had the lump removed, I had the breast removed as well, and I had an implant. I had great plastic surgeon. Implant on
Okay.
the right side.
Okay. So now you're a warrior, and you are open and you share your experience with other people. I would like to know, what advice would you give to someone who might have been recently diagnosed?
First of all, have faith. Um, if you're a believer, not everyone is, but if you are a believer, believe and trust in God's promises. Um, his word says, by his stripes I am healed. You say it to yourself, declare it, make the decree over and over and over again, no matter what you're told. Because during the first diagnosis, after the two cancers were found, it had spread to my lymph nodes, um, but God fixed it. So I would say, believe in what you pray for, believe in what
Hmm.
you read, have mustard seed faith because it is important. In your attitude, don't allow a lot of negativity, doom and gloom, brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles,
Right.
cousins. Do not allow that. If they come around you with the head hanging low and looking at you like you're leaving tomorrow. You just say, excuse me, I don't participate in negativity and I'm going to have to walk away from that. Or would you please leave? Or, I think I'm going to have to leave, get off the phone. You don't have to listen to it because you don't want that. You want someone to speak life over you, not negativity. So to me, my spirit, I think it was great because that's what I wanted to be to all the people around me that loved me. Yes, they saw me some days, when, my hair was gone and I was weak and I was nauseous and throwing up, but I always bounced back. So,
Right.
yeah, negative people is a no no.
Right.
Positive reinforcements, yes, that
Hmm.
is a necessity to get through any type of sickness, disease, or problem because how you approach
Hmm.
it, it matters.
I definitely agree because you've heard of cases where someone will go into the doctor and they look healthy. You can tell, couldn't tell anything was wrong with them. But as soon as they get the diagnosis, and I'm not blaming it, I'm not blaming them for how they, but if they don't have faith, they don't have, you know, people surrounding them so that they're not having a pity party, it seems like they can
Mhm.
go down really fast, you know.
I've seen it. When I tell you, when I used to go into the room and I have my 7 deep, and then you look over, you see someone just sitting there all by themselves. It will hurt my heart, uh, and more than likely, I'm going to say something to them. You know, how are
Mhm.
you? You doing okay? We're in this thing together. And then
Right.
next thing you know, you go in for a few more treatments. You don't see that person again, and my heart
Right.
goes out to that. So it does matter.
Mhm.
I can't imagine not having my family and my closest friends around me to help me through such an awful time in
Mhm.
my life. But I'm very thankful. You have to be. There's no way
Yeah.
you can go through something like that and not know that something more powerful than you exists.
um I would like to say ask, so what what advice would you give to someone who wants to be a support? Because I'll tell you what I think and then you tell me what you think. I think if you're
Okay.
going to be a support for someone, I don't think you want to go in every day saying, "How you doing? You feel feeling okay? You sick?" I would think that when you go in as a supporter, of course, you're going to ask how they're doing, right? But I
Hmm.
don't think should uh, you should sit there and say, uh, I don't know. You don't want to throw a pity party for them. That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
You do not want to
Exactly.
throw. So what would you say to a supporter? How would I support someone who is going through treatment right now?
One of the greatest things that you can do is not talk. You let them talk to you. Tell
Hmm.
them, let them tell you how they feel. You can wash
Okay.
their dishes, vacuum their floor, take care of their kids. You can bring a meal. You can offer a ride to the doctor. There's so many things. And you do
Hmm.
not have to make them feel they know what they're going through. They're living it. You're
Hmm.
watching it, they're living it. So whatever you can do to help them around their house, wash their car. I had a friend that would come and wash my car because they knew I was funny about my car.
That's nice. So when you went to your treatment, you knew that you were going to ride in a clean car.
Or if yes, right. It's
Yeah.
little things like that that shouldn't mean anything, but it's a distraction
Hmm.
from everything that you're going through. So
Right.
it can be something so simple, and it doesn't mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to them because they
Right.
appreciate. Wow, you took the time to think about me. I like this thing, and you brought it to me.
Mhm.
Bring them food. It's a lot of things you can do to support someone. You don't have to always be having a discussion about their sickness because truly they don't want to discuss it all the time.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I think that is really good advice.
Yes.
You know,
That's what helped me.
because no one wants to be treated as if they're sick.
and,
You
and,
know.
and when you were talking about the way that you look, um,
Hmm.
and you have to be careful on your wording, choosing your words when you do speak to someone, because this is what someone said to me. Oh, you don't look like you have cancer. I'm not, to me, that was very ignorant. But
Mhm.
then the other part of it, they just didn't know.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they probably saw someone that looked a particular way. Uh,
Mhm.
but there is no look that says, oh, she has cancer. You may look, I know I was looking a little puny because I had lost a lot of weight, but again, you don't have to remind the person of that. So you have to forgive them. I forgave the person for saying that because they just didn't
Mhm.
know. That was just, they forgive them for they know not what they do. So
Yeah.
I knew that person
Sometimes they just don't
did
know what
not
to say.
know.
Mhm.
Yes. So I guess they wanted to say something. But that was very painful because, wow, if we went by looks, it was a whole lot of things I didn't want to be, have.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
that's where we have a lot of people that's walking around now, and um,
Yeah, yeah,
they don't know that anything is going on. That's why we need to go in and
exactly,
get examinations done. We need to have blood work done,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
in the case of breast health, we want to get our mammograms done. You
exactly.
know,
Yeah,
as and like I said, also for women, their pap smears, and then men also have to think
yes.
about, prostate cancer. So yes, we're talking about breast
Mhm.
cancer, but we need to make sure that folks know you need to go and just get yourself checked out overall.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it can be very uncomfortable when you have to be in a room with a stranger. It might be kind of cold. You got this little gown on that, barely covers you, but it only lasts a short amount of time. That short
Hmm.
amount of time that you are uncomfortable
Yes,
could save your life.
exactly. And I'll take those few moments of being uncomfortable and still be here any day than to
Hmm.
not show up at all and not. Your body is a temple, so you've got to take care of it. It's a responsibility to God and to yourself and the people that love
Yeah.
you. You want to be around as long as possible and in the best health, a reasonable portion of health
Hmm.
and strength. That's what you want.
Then Miss Judith and I did chat a little bit yesterday, so I'm going to ask a question I already know the answer to. But for the viewers, what changes have you made in your life to help you out? I know one of them
Um,
was.
yes, Ascension Athletics.
Mhm.
I do work out. I was involved with a group before in Augusta,
Mhm.
and I loved it. I'm not a self motivator when it comes to exercise.
Mhm.
Um, I can have the weights right there on the floor, looking at them walk over them, step over them every day, and
Right.
tell myself I'm going to use it. I'm going to do it today. Just can't. So I function better in a group setting. And
Yeah.
since I've joined Ascension Athletics, and I feel better. I sleep a lot better. I look
Mhm.
forward to it every day because we have a bunch of positive women around striving for a goal. I need to take care of myself. I didn't do such a great job during COVID because you couldn't go out. But now that it's nearing its end, I
Mhm.
went all the way in and I go 5 days a week. Uh, and I enjoy it because I like the motivation with the positive women that's
Mhm.
around me going, okay, yeah, we're all striving for the same goal. We got stomach issues, backside issues, we're just trying
Right.
to clean it up, trim it up, fix it a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And they Ascension also offers nutrition seminars monthly. So I have to go. My eating habits were horrible. And I'm changing. I used to be a potato chip girl. I still am. I love potato chips, but I know I can't eat them all the time. They're not good for me.
Right.
So I switched to more healthy chip, the blue chips, tortilla.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
I've grown to love them.
I have a question for you. Do you like
Uh,
guacamole?
I don't think so. I've never had guacamole. I look at the color and my brain goes, green. I'm horrible about that.
The- You might like some guacamole with your chips, because let me tell you, I think guacamole make everything taste better.
Really? I'm gonna
Yes,
have to try
but
it.
so I don't know if you have texture issues. I have texture issues.
Oh, for
So
sure.
I've gone to some places and their guacamole is smooth. I think that is not so good. It's kind of nasty. So if you can go somewhere where they're gonna make the guacamole fresh, chopping up the avocado and the onions and the tomatoes and the garlic, I think you might like it. You can even, you know what? How about this? I can call you and we can make some guacamole together. We can do like a video chat
A video.
and make some guac. I
Yeah.
think you might like it. You might like it. Yo, you scratch your head like, I don't know what you talking
It's
about. let's
green.
let's take you off with baby steps. Okay, I'll do this. Start you off with baby steps. Again,
Okay.
I am not sponsored by anybody when I make a recommendation, but I think
Uh,
Chipotle makes one of the best um, guacamoles. So one day, if you over
really?
by Chipotle, don't get the chips, okay? Because you're not
Don't.
supposed to eat those chips, okay? So
Oh.
get the guacamole, take it
Okay.
home, put it with your blue chips, and let me know what you think.
Okay. That sounds like a deal. Cause
Yes,
yeah.
because I think you'll be like, "Oh, it's gonna level up those blue chips." Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Thank you
yeah.
for the suggestion. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna call you back.
Yeah, I think I might have to go to where Miss Judith is and take her to the Chipotle and get her
No, I am gonna try. I'm just gonna
okay, I
try it
think
because you said so.
yeah,
Yes, I will. I
yeah.
will try it, and then if I don't like it, I'll say, "Good thing I didn't make that at the house."
When you don't like it, you send me the bill, okay?
Gotcha. That works for me.
Alright, yeah. But I don't think I'm
Okay.
gonna receive a bill, y'all. I don't no. If anything, she's gonna be like, "You need to send me a gift card because I wanna go back." Oh gosh. So, it has been a pleasure. I could talk to you all day long. Like my cheeks are hurting, like, just
Mine
having this moment of
too.
laughter. But is there anything that you want to well, wait, there is one thing. I want you to tell us about the beautiful things that you have. You have two beautiful wreaths behind you and some
Oh
really pretty
yes.
flowers. Can you tell us about those things?
Well, the wreath on the left, the round one, says faith, hope, and love. One of my classmates, Kim Whitley Lamb, gave me that. Her daughter was recently diagnosed. She's very young. She's very beautiful. She's got a young
Mhm.
family and husband, and she's going through right now. Um, Her mom is just the sweetest heart. She reached out
Mhm.
to me. She told me that her daughter was going through, which is one thing, by the way, that I'll do. Someone lets me know, I'm always going to send them something, encouragement, always in the mail. So I've sent Alicia several things, and her mom wanted to say thank you. And that was her way of saying thank you. And I appreciate it because I love my wreath. That's the one on the left. The actual
Okay.
symbol is something I saw on Etsy. It was so beautiful. I was like, I got to have one of those. Normally, I would put them outside, but I've just been enjoying all of this pink all October long. It's just beautiful to me. And my flowers came from my honey.
Ooh.
Because He wants me
Those are
to think pink
beautiful
as
flowers.
well. Yes.
Yes.
So it's so beautiful. It just makes me happy. As I celebrate, it also makes me reflect because I've
Mhm.
had quite a few friends, family members that didn't make it. So that's what those little trinkets are behind me. And I wanted to include them because it's very special. This is a very special time of year for me. Um,
Mhm.
and I like to acknowledge all God's goodness towards me that's been shown. And definitely, I'd like to be the person to try to reflect His goodness to give to someone else. And that's been my mission. I finally found out what my purpose was when I was diagnosed. So it's not always a death sentence. It's a beautiful thing because when my phone rings, I met so many wonderful people, um, instant messages who just said, "Hey, my family member, my cousin, can you talk with them?" It's my honor and my pleasure because I know I didn't have to be here. God is good.
Yeah. I think that's so wonderful that you said that you send whenever you find out someone has been diagnosed that you send them a gift, and I think that is so um, so kind, so wonderful because during that moment, when so many emotions they're going through, just to get a gift, a blanket or I think it warms their heart to let them know that someone
Yeah.
cares and someone is thinking about them.
It does. Just talking with people that I have tried, to reach out in that fashion. I'm always going to get a journal because you really need to stay in touch with your feelings because breast cancer and any type of cancer or sickness, you run so many emotions. You just want to go back and reflect and say, okay, God brought me through that. I thought it was probably one of the worst days, and it was probably one of your best days because you're still
Mhm.
around to talk to someone to tell them about it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my whole mission, my purpose in life. Help somebody else who's going through, just need someone to talk to, and how better to do that than to speak to someone who's been through it too.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That is so
yeah.
awesome. Well, I know we have been talking a long time. Like I said, this is the first episode, so people who are listening, they don't know what to expect. But there's one other thing that I want to introduce our listeners to is the good news section of this podcast. So at the end of each podcast, I want to end it with some good news. And um, my good news for today is you can survive. Miss Judith here is a great example of someone who has survived twice. And so the good news is she's here. That's our good news. Miss Judith is here with us to tell the story. And I hope that this podcast episode has inspired you all to go get checked. And let me tell you, if you don't want to do it by yourself, go grab a friend. Maybe you can't go to the same doctor. You might have a different doctor, but set your appointment on the same day, and then afterwards go have lunch. You know, to say, you know what, we did it. We did this together.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is how we're going to close each episode with some good news. I will have more information on how you guys can send me your good news. Your good news can be about relationships, health, finance, business, graduation, birth of a child, career, graduation, whatever you want your good news to be. I will be happy to share your good news with the At the Table with Demonique audience. Thank you for your time. I hope that you are here for the next episode. And please thank Miss Judith for being with us today.
Thank you, Monique. God bless your podcast. It is awesome. Thank you for
Thank,
including me.
thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Come back next Thursday for another episode of At the Table with Monique podcast. Remember to like this video and subscribe so you will be notified when a new episode is posted.